So, I'm going to start off with answering some of the questions I found on Twitter from you guys. So, we'll get this started. If you guys want to check that out, my Twitter is @FantasyAdvice22, Facebook.com/FantasySportsGuru22. My blog is FantasySportsAdvice.sportsblog.com. I write over there. So let's get to these. All right. So, @NoelFinn, sorry if I didn't spell that right, or spell that right, say that right. What about Kaepernick or Wilson 6-point pass TD? 6-point pass TD for them. Now, I might be a little biased because I do have Russell Wilson on my teams, but you can't be biased in these situations. You do have Russell Wilson going against San Diego, 6-point pass for a touchdown. He has so many. He can just do the little flip passes to Percy Harvin. He can put on those burners and he can get out of there. He's got so many weapons in Seattle, and they're so up-tempo. It just, I like him. I also like Kaepernick going against the Bears, who just didn't look themselves last week, but what are the Bears? On this, I'm going to lean towards Wilson just because he does have so many more weapons. I know Kaepernick has a lot of weapons. Kaepernick has Anquan Boldin, he has Crabtree. If Crabtree's healthy, Vernon Davis. If Crabtree's healthy, Vernon Davis will lose some, but if he's not healthy, Vernon Davis will get that. I'm still going to lean towards Russell Wilson on this one. Thank you for asking. And then same guy, Gore, Lacy, Foster, Kendall Wright. Which three? Standard scoring, half-point PPR. Gore, Lacy, Foster, Kendall Wright. 3, Lacy, Foster, Kendall Wright. Foster, I think he's going to have a huge game this week against Oakland. Gore, I can't go with Gore. I just can't this week. As good as he is, I don't think he's as good as the other 3. Kendall Wright, obviously, great matchup. Lacy, all signs point to he's a good to go. He doesn't have that concussion, or he passed the concussion test. I really think Lacy's going to... And, yeah, you ask about the Jets' D. I don't think it's that good. I mean, it's good, but I'm still going to go off with... I'm going to tell you right now, I would just go with Lacy, Foster, Kendall Wright. That's what I'm going with. Let's see other questions. Brady or Wilson? Brady or Wilson? Again, I like Brady and Wilson. This week, I'm still leaning towards Wilson. Brady's good, yes. He's going up. He's going to be outside, not going to be in the dome. But you guys got some great questions. I'm really still, I know Brady's going up against the Vikings. Vikings are going to be, the Vikings played a lot better last week than they should have. And the Patriots did not. Last week was messed up. I won my weekly pick'ems, won $70. But I'm going to go Wilson on this one. I know Brady's Brady. He's probably going to go off, but I think Wilson's going to have a better week. Thank you for that question. Cooks or Decker, week 2? Will Cooks be Cooks again this week? Will Brandon Cooks do exactly what he's going to do? Going against Cleveland, it's Cleveland. Oh, I can't imagine. I can't imagine him. It was a shootout though, so Cooks he's got a great chance to go off again. So I'm gonna lean Cooks on this one. That's really what I'm gonna do. Thank you for that question, Fantasy Scout 651. So, more questions. Let's see. These questions are good. Keep them rolling in. I love answering these questions for you guys. Where are these? Jen Held, you always got like a female playing fantasy sports because it just doesn't happen that much, asks, do I risk playing Jay Charles and D. Martin again? Hashtag fantasy football. Last week was not a very good week. Jamal Charles just didn't. I feel like they're going to be behind all game, and Jamal Charles is that playmaker. I think they're just going to throw him the ball and say do something with it. And it's 1 week. You can't really just do it off 1 week. Don't be drastic. Don't trade him season long. Doug Martin, he's hurt a little bit, so that's a toss up. And then she comes back with, she has Ryan Matthews, Pierre Thomas, Niall Davis, Ian Cromwell, and I wouldn't be against it if you sat Doug Martin and played Pierre Thomas. It just, Jamal Charles, obviously, there's no question. You play him in and out no matter what. I mean, he's going to have these bad games, but he's generally never has 2 bad games in a row unless he's hurt. I think he's good to go. I think he's going to do really good this week. Yeah. So that was that. I hope I answered your question. If you guys have questions, feel free to tweet them out. Listen up here. I'll try to answer them as much as possible. I'm sorry that my room, it's all white. I get that. I know this camera's going in and out because I'm moving a bunch, so I apologize for that. Some other questions that I want to go with. Like I said, if you haven't checked out my blog, I'd really like you to check that out. It's over at fantasysportsadvice.sportsblog.com. Do a bunch of stuff over there. I can answer some of your questions. Some of them might be on there. I've had a ton of views on the my 2 weeks. I had the FanDuel NFL Week 2 daily advice. And I'll kind of break that down a little bit, what I think is going to go on. Yes, I do everything on FanDuel. I don't do any other websites, so my knowledge is huge on FanDuel. So what I kind of want to do is I'm going to break down a few of the plays that I like. And with that, at QB, Matt Stafford, I know he's going to go up against Panthers defense, but it is Matt Stafford. He's going to have a better year than he did last year, and I just feel like he's going to have a great game. He does have, obviously, if you guys pay attention, he's got Megatron, he's got Golden Tate, and like I've said since last week, week 1, preseason, I think Golden Tate's going to have a bounce-back year. I think he's going to be huge. So take what you want for that. Sorry, Iowa just scored on ISU. Go Hawks. Back to what I'm talking about. I think Golden Tate will be breakout year this year. He's going to win Megatron, Calvin Johnson, whatever you want to call him. When he is being double covered and triple covered, that is going to leave Golden Tate open. He is good. Just didn't get all that publicity in Seattle because they had so many more weapons in Seattle. So, second one, Jake Locker. He's going up against Dallas defense. As of now, in this whole year, I'm probably going to have to suggest quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight everyone against the Dallas D until they prove something. Jake Locker, he was under-owned. I'm glad I picked him up. He was a waiver wire pickup. My season long. I do daily and season long. And Jake Locker, I think he's going to do good. I want to say he's going to get 2-3 touchdowns. He's going to go huge this week. I think he's going to be owned a lot on daily fantasy, so be wary of that. In GPPs, guaranteed prize pools, if you guys are trying to win the big bucks, you're going to have to go with people that aren't under-owned, not owned a lot, people might not think about but are going to have huge upsides. And I actually do over at my other website, thefantasysportsguru.com, and on the right side underneath the ads, I have options I give you full detail stories, articles, and I actually give you articles and lineups that I use on FanDuel that weekend. The prices are for 1 week $5.50, and the reason they're the $5.50 is PayPal takes a fee out. It is really cheap. You can't find these prices. You can find these packages for different fantasy websites, like $100 for the season. $20 for the week, stuff like that. What I like about that is been doing huge things, and the prices are all on the right side under the ads. Just drop down menu. I think there is a week, a month, and a season long subscription service. It's great. I'm gonna find the videos and the tweets of people who've had success using my stuff and try to get those popped up so you guys can see the referrals and stuff like that. But anyway, let's go back. Other QBs I like this week: Andrew Luck. He's going against Philadelphia Monday night under the lights. Big show. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think the Colts are going to win against the Eagles, but I think it's just going to be so. I think there's going to be at least 60 points scored. And Andrew Luck, the running game just isn't there. Trent Richardson, I don't know what's wrong with him. He's not any good. So Andrew Luck's going to have to throw it a bunch. I like Carson Palmer, not as much. Drew Brees, obviously, you can't really go wrong with him. Running back, I like Matt Forte, PPR league. FanDuel is half-point PPR. It's going up against 49ers defense, which if you just looked at the final score of that game last week, you would say it wasn't even close, and their defense was stout again. But Tony Romo threw 3 picks, and then they got a fumble. But if you dig a little deeper and look in the stats, Dallas actually just ran through their defense, who are missing Smith, Bowman. Matt Forte can take the pass. He's a pass back. He's 3 down back. I think he has a huge game. I think he is in store for a huge game this week. I like Matt Forte. This is for daily. Obviously, if you have him on year league, you're going to use him regardless. That's just a fact. So I really, really would go with Matt Forte as one of them. And I think I have like 6 different lineups on FanDuel, and some are head-to-head, some are cash games, and then some are GPP. And the GPP, I don't know if many people are going to be picking the ones I did, especially for the ones that are the $1 million prize payout, the huge prize pools, which is awesome this year. FanDuel has been doing 45,000 plus entries in one. Yeah, it's a long shot. The Survivor, I love the Survivor ones. Week to week, if your lineup gets in the top half, you survive, you move on, which is awesome. So check that out. If you want to go check out, if you want to get a chance, sneak peek at my lineups, if you want to try that out. I've got a few customers this week, a few last week. Baseball. We did baseball big. Now we're doing football. Football is huge, huge, and FanDuel is right there with you. So, and I'm not sponsored by FanDuel. Just so you know, that's the site I use. I don't use anything else. I tried out DraftKings. I don't really like it. And now with all the mergers, everything's merging back and forth, going together. So as of now, be on the lookout for everything I do is going to be FanDuel for you. So if you got your FanDuel questions, you can ask me at Twitter at FantasyAdvice22. Check that out. Check my website out at thefantasysportsguru.com and also fantasysportsadvice.sportsblog.com. And, of course, like me on Facebook. I try to update that as much as possible. Facebook.com/fantasysportsguru22. So let's jump back at other running backs I like. Arian Foster, I think he's going to run all over Oakland this week. He's going to be big. I think he might be top back this week. You just never know. He looks to be as healthy as possible. Le'Veon Bell, I liked him. He did big things on Thursday. Obviously, this article was put out, I think it was like last Tuesday or Wednesday. And Zach Stacy. He had a down week last week. I like Stacy. He's going to be cheap, obviously. If you have him, I have him on year long, so it just depends. Some running wide receivers, I like Reggie Wayne. Yeah, he's coming off the surgery. He looked good last week. He had 13 targets against him, or 13 targets, Andrew Luck, last week against Broncos. Since it is going to be a shootout, I think he's going to be looking for Reggie Wayne a ton. And he can break off those runs. He can get that catch. He can break coverage. So I like him. Other wide receivers I like this week, Kelvin Benjamin. If you have him, don't bench him. Golden Tate, like I said, I'm all over Golden Tate this year. I think he's going to have a huge year. So like that. AJ Green, I'm gonna predict 1, if not 2 touchdowns this week. I think the Bengals are gonna have a great game this week. Justin Hunter, he had a injury scare, but it looks like he'll be all right. He gets the dream matchup. He's going up against Dallas. So, I mean, like I said, anyone against Dallas until Dallas proves people wrong, got to go with them. So I think the teams to stack this week, the Colts versus the Eagles Monday night. Andrew Luck paired with Reggie Wayne and T.Y. Hilton. Like I said, their running game, it's non-existent. You've got Bradshaw, but I mean, Luck's going to be Luck, and I think he looks like a caveman, but that has nothing to do with anything. I just like to say that. I think he's going to throw the ball a ton. I think he's going to go 400 yards, and I mean, he's got the targets. He's got Reggie Wayne, T.Y. Hilton. Look out for that. It's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be pretty good. Another, obviously, stack at Titans versus Cowboys. Anyone versus Cowboys until they prove me wrong, like I said. Jake Locker, Justin Hunter, Delaney Walker. So look for that. Flop of the week that I predicted on Tuesday before this whole Adrian Peterson thing came out. Minnesota Vikings. So the Vikings did good. Matt Castle led them over the Rams, but I just don't see them repeating this performance this week. They're playing outside. They're playing at home, but they're playing outside because they're getting a new stadium. And Blair Walsh is great. He is good at 50-plus yard field goals, but his percentage is cut considerably when they're outside. So look out for that. I think the sleeper MVP of the week, I think the top overall quarterback is going to be Andy Dalton. Red Lightning. Andy Dalton, he's good at home. He's great at home. He's got a streak at home, 300-plus yards and touchdowns. I think he adds that. I think he goes 400 yards this week, 3 touchdowns. I think the Bengals, personally, I don't want to say that the Bengals are going to have the best week because, like I said, Monday night, under the lights, is probably going to be the highest scoring. But the Bengals see Atlanta, and Atlanta just had a shootout into OT with the Saints, which Saints are good. And Andy Dalton is very good at home. He has as many touchdowns. The only 2 people ahead of Andy Dalton for touchdowns at home is Peyton Manning and Drew Brees of the last few years. So Andy Dalton at home is no-brainer. I think he's going to be owned a ton on FanDuel. So, I mean, he's a safe cash game bet. But if you're looking for the big payout, GPP, I have some lineups with some quarterbacks with statistics that I've looked at that aren't the huge names because everyone's going to be on those huge names. They're going to be 50%, 60%, 80% owned. So you got to pay attention with that. So, so check out sports blog at fantasysportsadvice.sportsblog.com. I hope you guys do that. So I hopefully can answer more of your questions. So what do you guys want to see? I can see what you guys are doing. So let's see what you guys want. There we go. I can warm it up. I can make it a little bit. I mean, it blocks out the sun. It looks good. It looks great. So let's go with some more of your questions that you guys have. What was that? So, what I'd like to have is hopefully like every Saturday I can answer you guys' questions. So every Saturday, hopefully be live for an hour or 2. This Saturday today I've got some things going on. Trying to answer as many questions as possible. I love that you guys are asking questions. I love that you're trying to get that advantage over whoever you're playing. Daily fantasy, this fantasy, all that stuff. So I'm sorry, I gotta wait for little questions here. Just waiting, kind of watching the game too. I apologize. I don't have cable at home, and I literally came home and someone stole the antenna that I had for my TV that gave me 5 channels. So now I have 0 channels. So I gotta watch this on here, unfortunately. But what I really trying to help you with. I hope I'm answering as many questions, and you can send them to me, and you can email them at fantasysportsguru@gmail.com, fantasysportsguru22@gmail.com. All week. I'm always here all week just listening, waiting for you guys, waiting for your questions. Every week I have new articles up, everything like that. So, what are you guys waiting for? So I'm going to check out some other questions you guys have asked, see if I can help you guys out, see if you guys need some more questions. At OGG73 asks, would you trade Jeremy Hill for Mark Ingram in a 10-team standard dynasty? Ooh, that is... Ooh. Now, Jeremy Hill is good, yes. In a dynasty for keeping, how long do you... How many people can you keep is the question. How many in your dynasty do you keep? What do you lose for the next year? Stuff like that. Mark Ingram, he's good. He's young, obviously. He had a couple down. He had down last year. He's all right. 2 years ago, he was thought more of what he actually was. But it appears. I mean, it's only week 1 as well. I mean, you guys, you can't be that rash, and it's week 1 is what I'm saying. So you got to pay attention with that. I wouldn't do it yet, and I would wait a while. I would just wait a while, not yet anything. So who would you start, Chris Johnson or Mark Ingram? Chris Johnson this week. Chris Johnson at not Rayburn. Chris Johnson. Also, Big C04. Who would you take? Just looking for a week 2 matchup. Matt Bryant versus Cincy, Blair Walsh versus New England, McManus versus KC, and Janikowski versus Houston. I'll break it down a little bit. Matt Bryant versus Cincy. It's at Cincy. I think they're going to be up a ton already. Matt Bryant's good. He's better in a dome, so I would kind of not really him. Blair Walsh, like I already said, he's going up against New England. Outside. They're at home, but they're outside because they're getting a new stadium. Blair Walsh is historically not as good outside, so I wouldn't go with Blair Walsh. McManus versus KC, I think Denver's going to be up a ton already, so that and Janikowski, because I think Houston's going to lock him down, and Janikowski, if they can get in range, I mean, he can kick it too, and he's used to kicking it outside. I'd say McManus. Janikowski's good too. It's really toss-up. Matt Bryant, Blair Walsh, no. Just get those out of there. Don't even think about that. McManus. Defense. I'm leaning toward Janikowski, but I would not fault you if you went McManus on that one. Picking up also, Big C004. Picking up the defense for this week, either Packers, Steelers, Jacksonville, but most likely Packers. Packers at home. They're big. Jacksonville proved something last week until the very end. I could see them. Steelers, it's too late already. They blew it. I hope you didn't pick them up. I'm leaning Packers or Jacksonville. That's what I would lean towards. What else? I mean, that's really the only questions I have right now. I can kind of break down some of my other article, I guess. Let's go to that article. We'll check that out real quick. I'll kind of break it. It's the waiver wire pickups if you have not. If you're in need. But if you have that #1 spot, do not use that #1 spot for just a week to week, because you're going to want that number 1 spot for those people that obviously, like the Ben Tates. He was drafted probably running back 2 on some teams, and he's down right now, and you want his replacement, and you're at week number 2. You have a waiver wire spot. We don't know how long he's down is the thing. I think the number 1 overall waiver wire pick for week 2 is Kelvin Benjamin. I think he's going to do good. He's going to have a breakout rookie year, and if week 1 was any indication, I think he's going to do great. Even with Cam Newton back, he's going to do even better, basically. Week 1 stats, 6 catches, 91 yards. So, like I said earlier, Jake Locker, he went undrafted in most. I think he's probably picked up by most people now. His week 1 stat, 21 for 34, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think he's going to do awesome all year. This week, especially against the Cowboys. Anyone against the Cowboys, like I said before, that's what's going to happen. So anyone against the Cowboys until they prove me wrong. Wide receiver Brandon Cooks. He was touted as the wide receiver to look out for this year. Last week, obviously, was a shootout with the Falcons. He did amazing. He went 7 catches, 77 yards, 1 touchdown. I would say look out for him. He's gonna get those red zone targets when Jimmy Graham is double, triple teamed. That's just what it looks like so far. Running back Justin Forsett. Rice was suspended. Bernard Pierce was supposed to be in his place. Bernard Pierce did awful. He had his first career interception, or first career fumble, and he lost it, and he got benched. In came Forsett, who's, I wouldn't say a veteran, but he's been in the league for a while. There's a reason he was number 3 back. He jumped to the front. I'm going to probably assume he was the number 1 running back that was on waivers. Huge pickup, if that's what people were waiting for. Now Ray Rice is gone off the team. Who knows if he'll play again? Forsett, Pierce. I haven't really looked at what Forsett did, so I'm gonna look at that right now. So he didn't even. I mean, Bernard Pierce. Forsett was the guy who people were picking up, and Bernard Pierce actually had 22 carries for 96 yards, when Forsett only had 8 carries for 56. He averaged 7 yards per carry, where Pierce averaged 4.4. Then Forsett had 4 receptions for 16 yards. You just never know now. Like that's my exact point. Justin Forsett people were all over him, and then it turns out Pierce actually got it. So you got to be careful. You cannot jump the gun on the waiver wire is the thing. That's the huge thing. Last week, Forsett went 11 rushes, 7 yards, 1 touchdown. He obviously didn't get that this week. Check the reports, check the camp, stuff like that. Houston D, Jadeveon Clowney's out for 4 to 6 weeks. He had surgery. They're going up. This is why I got Houston on my year-long. That is the defense that I went with, because they have the easiest first 3 games schedule. Last week they had the Redskins, which people were scared about, but obviously they only held them to 6 points, had a return for a touchdown. They also had 3 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and a touchdown on that. Alfred Blue, the backup to Arian Foster, was the one playing special teams on a blocked kick, got the ball, and scored the touchdown. I think Houston's going to have a great game against Oakland this week. Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver Allen Hurns. He was the game much last week because Cecil Shorts was out with a hamstring, but Marquis Lee, he left practice this week with a hurt hamstring, game time decision, I think. I haven't looked up to the date yet, but I'm seeing Allen Hurns in there again. Last week he had 4 catches, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm not saying he's going to do that again, but it's quite possible for him to do that again. He was picked up a bunch on waiver wire, especially Yahoo. I only play Yahoo this year. I usually do ESPN, but I didn't. So that's really what I got. There's a couple other things you guys can check out over at fantasysportsadvice.sportsblog.com. Always looking for more stuff what you guys are looking for. Please, please, please tell me what you guys are looking for. And I love to answer you guys' questions. I know you guys have a bunch of questions, and I apologize for the. I don't know what's wrong with my camera. I really don't. So, hope you guys are enjoying the questions, the answered question. I know there's some people you ask on Twitter, you ask them questions they don't answer. They're like that. I like to try and answer them for you. So, what I need other questions. So, when you have questions and you try to, I'll try to get them as much answered. I usually answer them when asked on Twitter. But I like to jump back and answer these on here because I think it's better for people to hear it more than just read it. So, what other things would you guys like me to see? Talk about. I can do baseball a little bit. It's winding down though. There might not be. There might not be much. So, with the whole reading that. So, with the whole drug policy being signed, they're reporting that Josh Gordon could have his ban taken down to 8 games, so he should, since 1, it's already week 2. I'd say week 10, he'd be good. Stash him away in your year-long league. Even with 6 games, I think he's going to be huge. I think he's going to have a great day. Great last few weeks. I don't want to say he's going to be top a certain amount because, I mean, it is half the year. But he is a big playmaker. He's young. I think he's 23 years old. So that's something to look forward to. So if you guys have any other questions, checking Twitter right now to see if you do. Let's see what you got going on Twitter. I got no other questions on Twitter right now. So I thank you guys for watching. Like I said, if you want full lineups, full in-depth articles that you can't get for free, check out fantasysportsadvice.sportsblog.com. Those are the free articles. The paid articles and full lineups for FanDuel for that week, it'll either be usually will only be Sunday, Monday games, because Thursday on FanDuel, once you lock into that lineup, it's locked. Say something happens in practice Friday, say something happens pregame warm-up, it's too late to change because they're locked, so I like Sunday, Monday games. If you're looking for that edge on the competition, if you're looking for that edge on FanDuel, check out thefantasysportsguru.com. Right side of the page, under the ads, subscription service, it'll be a pop-down menu. Check that out. Email me any questions you guys have. That's the big thing. I answer as many questions as I possibly can when asked. So check that out at fantasysportsguru22@gmail.com, facebook.com/fantasysportsguru22, Twitter @fantasyadvice22. I'm on Twitter as much as I can, and it just depends on what I can get. So also at youtube.com/fantasysportsguru22, which you guys are watching now. So any questions for me, please. I'll try to answer them as much as possible. I got some things going on tonight, but I'll have my phone with me. I'll try to answer them up to kickoff tomorrow. And all I can say is hopefully you guys take some advice. If you got questions you just can't answer yourself, I can try and help you with that. So without any other questions that I have, which I'm not getting any right now, I'm going to turn this off. Good luck. NFL Week 2 is upon us. Game 1's already out of the way. Sunday, tomorrow, big day. Monday night, going to be huge. Looking forward to getting some money on FanDuel and hopefully helping you guys out with some advice. So without further ado, thank you. Hopefully you have a great week. Bring home that bacon. You got to bring home that money. Remember, ask questions on Twitter. I'll answer them as much as possible. So Until next week, check out my articles over at fantasysportsadvice.sportsblog.com. Also, check out my Facebook, my Twitter, and everything else. So thanks for watching. Hopefully week 2 it will be great for you. Hopefully it's great for me. And hopefully we can get through this. And look out for those next articles. Look out for the next. Watch my Twitter for when I'm going to go live and answer your questions. I also answer your questions there, like I said, but I'll try to answer them as quick as possible. So thank you guys. Have a great week.